Welcome to basic training on the Olympus DS-5000 digital voice recorder. If you've already had your hardware installed and your software configured, it's time now to learn how to operate this advanced digital recording device. First, let's go over some of the basic operational features. On the right side of the recorder is the on-off switch. Simply slide it up and watch the display. It'll tell you good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on what time of day it is, and then you'll see the full display. Now that the main display is showing, let's go over some of the more important things that you're looking at. First, you'll see that there's a folder icon that says Folder A. We're now in Folder A. There are up to 7 folders that can be configured on this recorder, although most people only use one folder. The numbers show you both the file that you're working on in the folder and how many total files are in the folder. In this case, we have a 01 over 000. That means that there's no files currently in folder A, and that when we begin the next new file, you see it says new file underneath, we will be working on file number 1. As you begin adding new files into the folder, the small number will increment to show you the total number of files in the folder. The big number will show you which of those files you're currently working on. You could have 10 files in the folder, but be working on number 5, in which case it would show 005 over 010. Now let's begin recording with the Olympus DS-5000 or DS-5000 ID. Take the recorder into your right hand and follow along with me as we do this together. To begin recording with the DS-5000 recorder, simply take the slide switch on the side and slide it up to the record position. You'll see a red light will come on, and the seconds will begin incrementing to show you how much time you have actually recorded into your recording. You'll also see a little meter flash on the front to show you that it's picking up your sound. Now we're going to record here for about 20 seconds, so we have a little room to play with, and then we'll slide down to the stop position. Now the red light is off, we're at 20 seconds, and nothing else is happening on the display. What has changed, however, is it now says 001 over 001. We now have one recorded file in our folder, in this case folder A, and we're still on file number 1. Now just like an analog tape recorder, you may want to go back up and re-record something or listen to at least to what you've recorded. To do so with the DS-5000 is much similar. Take the slide switch and slide it down 1 notch to the play position. When we do so, we're going to hear a little beep and it'll flash the word end on the display. That means that we're at the end of the file, naturally, and there's nothing to play. To go back and review what we have recorded, we take the slide switch and move it, and hold it, rather, all the way down, and as we do so, you're going to hear it play little snippets as it backs up.
To play with, 20 seconds. Now we have
and you can see the thermometer bar across the top move backwards. When we let up, it moves up to the play position and begins playing forward what we just recorded. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use this up and down action to position the time at 10 seconds. So move back down, let up to play. When it gets to 10, slide up to the stop position. Now you can see this says we're at the 10-second mark out of a total of 20 seconds. And we're still on file number 1. Now, if we begin recording at this point, we're going to overwrite what was already there from seconds 11 on to 20. So let's do that. Slide up to the record position. The red light is on, and we can see that the time is incrementing 16, 17, 18. What's great about digital recording is that even though we go beyond the 20-second mark and begin adding to this recording, we're not affecting any other voice file that we may create on this recorder. What you do in one voice file will have no effect on any other on the recorder. Now let's go to the stop position. We're now at 35 seconds. Now we've made a recording, we've gone back and reviewed it, we've made a change. We're now ready to begin our next project. If you look on the right side of the recorder, right above the slide switch, you'll see the New button. No matter what file you're in, no matter where you are in any file, if you push the New button, you'll go to the next incremental new file on your recorder. In this case, it would be number 2. So I'm going to push the New button, and we see that it now says New File across the display. It says 002 over 001, the one file that we just created, and we're about to create file number 2. So let's go to the record position now, and we're going to begin creating our file number 2. And we're going to let this record a little bit for about 10 seconds. Hope you're doing the same. 9, 10, and we go to stop. Got 11 seconds there. Now that you have two files on your recorder, let's talk about how to navigate between the files. Below the three function keys is the important 5-key keypad. The plus and minus key control the volume on playback as well as selections in the menu. The center button, labeled Menu OK, calls up the configuration menu as well as confirms any selections that you make. But for navigating between the files, it's the left button for rewind and the right button for fast forward that are important to us at this point. Now you can see on the display that we're at the end of file number 2, 11 seconds, and the black bar is all the way across to the right. As we hold down the rewind button, we'll see that the black bar will move to the left, and we'll hear the little snippets of sound as we did when we used the review function on the slide switch. If we hold down the right fast forward button, we'll hear those snippets, we'll hear forward snippets of the recording. But if you want to move more quickly between the files, there's two techniques that we found very convenient. One is the single tap. If we single tap the rewind button, we'll see that it quickly scrolls backwards to the beginning of file number 2. If we tap the rewind button again, we'll see that it scrolls backwards through file number 1 to its beginning. And of course, the fast forward button works just the opposite. But sometimes on long recordings, we don't want to wait for the recording to scroll all the way back through to the beginning or all the way to the end. So we use a double tap technique. If we double tap the fast forward button, we see that it immediately jumps to the end of file number 1. 01 is our first file over 02, and we're at 35 seconds. If we double tap the fast forward button again, it immediately skips us to the end of file number 2. So here we are back where we began. If we want to go back to the first file, go to the end of the first file to add to it, we would double tap the rewind button to go to the beginning of file number 2, tap it again to go to the beginning of file number 1, tap the fast forward button twice to go to the end of file number 1. And you can see by the black bar that we're all the way to the right, we're at the end of file number 1. Now when we go to record at this point, and we'll slide the switch up, we're now adding to the end of file number 1, but we are not overwriting file number 2, and this is important. Let's go to stop now. We now have a total of 44 seconds on file number 1. There are still 2 files in this folder. Now, if you remember earlier, I said no matter where you are on the recorder, when it's time for you to begin a new project, you simply hit the new button. So, what we're going to do is we're on file number 1. We're ready to begin our third project. We push the new button above the slide switch, and we can see on our display that it now says 003 over 002. And this will be our third and last sample file that we create during this training session. So let's turn the recorder up to the record position. The red light is on, the time is incrementing, and the meter shows us that it's hearing our voice. Let's go to stop now. We have recorded 10 seconds into this file. But occasionally you may have a rush job, something you want the transcriptionist to transcribe immediately, something before all the others are transcribed. Well, rather than having to tell your transcriptionist exactly which file to transcribe before all others, we have the convenience with the DS-5000 of pushing the F2 button, which says prior above it, to set a priority mark. So we press the prior button, and we see on the display that says priority set, and it puts an exclamation mark next to the number 3. When this file is offloaded with the others and transmitted to your transcriptionist, either over your network or by FTP or email, the transcriptionist will see this listing in her or his display as in red and at the top of any search queue. Take some time, play with your DS-5000 and DS-5000 ID voice recorder. Get quite familiar with the controls, but as you can see, it's really a pretty simple device to operate. Now there are many other advanced features that you'll need to consult with us about if you'd like to include them, including multiple authors, work types, encryption, or as in the case of the DS-5000 ID, the fingerprint encryption scanning feature. We'll be glad to help you with any of those. Thank you very much and have fun with your recorder.